Welcome to today's episode. We have a very exciting guest, Sudip Mondal, founder of Startupholic Catalyst and SHC Growth Partners. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're so excited to join you.
First of all, thank you, Megan, for inviting me for this podcast opportunity. And just got connected few couple of weeks back, right? And then we started conversing on LinkedIn, and ultimately we are here today.
Yeah.
And I'm glad to be here, and I'll equally exciting to be here. And just to give you a brief about myself, also my background, right?
Yes, of course.
So before I start my journey with Startupholic at SHC Growth Partners, I'd like to go back a couple of maybe couple of 10 years back. It all right.
Mhm.
So I basically come from a very humble family, and where my native place is from in Bengal. I'm from a small village called that is exactly into the eastern side of India, right? Bengal state. So from my childhood itself, I wanted to start on my own. Okay? So that was the thought process from the beginning itself, and like your mindset ultimately uh, takes you everywhere, right? So that mindset is important before you can start thinking about starting anything to start it.
Mhm.
Whether it's a start, it's about own business or you are managing your family business. So
Mhm.
I did my schooling and everything in my village. Then I moved towards the main city of Calcutta. I did my schooling, and post that I graduated from St. Xavier's College, and so I am a commerce graduate. And post that I did many things, and I did lot of sales job also, like selling out books, working in call centers, and post that I did my couple of diploma courses also. But ultimately, the fundamental aspect of my mindset was always to be into the core finance domain. It is not anything. I never thought about going towards anything, but rather than into finance and into the core finance thing. Then I back in 2010, I moved to Mumbai. That time we used to call it Bombay. Now we call it Mumbai,
Mhm.
which is the capital of Maharashtra. And being the financial capital of India, the opportunities for any of the youngsters like me at that point of time was a huge, right? And I started with working with a company called Datamatics, mostly onto the KPO side. So it was basically an outsourcing project it was an outsourced company, used to outsource all these work from the company like LexisNexis and all those were the client of Datamatics. So I worked there for 1.5 years. Then I realized that this is the time to move towards into different direction, and ultimately ended up with got admitted for my MBA ultimately in 2015, and then ultimately then the actual journey got started into my professional life, the professional life, right? So there I was working with a company called Carmi Finance. Basically, I was working mostly onto larger ticket size of mortgage loan,
Mhm.
which is basically for the SMEs, MSMEs. Because if you look at the spectrum of Indian economy, MSME contributes almost 30 to 35% of the entire GDP. And that plays a huge role in terms of both creating employment opportunities and also the fundamental aspect of Indian economy. Right. So, and being the fundamentally that important when you talk about the overall GDP aspect, it is equally important that how we are going to provide the credit for them to grow and also to create more scalable opportunities going ahead, right? Because ultimately they also need the time to time capital infusion in their business, and that will ultimately help them to grow exponentially for the next decade or so. That gave me the opportunity to understand the MSME market from ground level, and that ultimately gave me the basic understanding how the MSME works at the ground.
Mhm.
What are the pain points of the MSME? And there are multiple categories. Like, there are SMEs related to services, manufacturing, and also the trading aspect also. But ultimately, there are many pain points which are found out for the SMEs that they're unable to get the timely capital for their business to prosper further, right? So again, that still being the problem in India. But again, we have come a long way from 2015 till 2025. So I was taking care of the mortgage thing that point of time, then while working with multiple products also. But again, I wanted to shift to a kind of a digital. That time in between 2017-18, the digital space was coming up very rapidly in India, right? How the digitization was taking place. And then 2016, the demonetization happened in India, right? you might be aware of the demonetization that took place in 2016. That somehow affected the MSMEs again and MSMEs economy as a whole, right? Then again, the GST, which is now the good service tax, that also brought into the spectrum. And ultimately, it was a double kind of a change that took place in back in 2016 to in between 2019 period. And then the finally with the goal of making the Indian economy a digitized one, the UPI came in, right? The entire UPI, the infrastructure, then Paytm and all those in fintech infra took place at that point of time. So finally, I shifted my gear towards fintech. I moved towards the fintech ecosystem. And while taking care of the lending ecosystem, I was managing the end to end, setting up the operations, the collection, the entire digitization process for couple of fintechs. And then the COVID came in just early 2020.
Mhm.
And then everything was kind of not stalled, but again, the economy and the entire world economy took a very large hit, both in terms of the growth rate and also people were struggling to maintain end meet also, right? So that was a struggling period for everyone, whether be it a entrepreneurship and also whether you were working as an employee or not, right? So then the shift happens at that point of time, and I also wanted to start something new. And that was the time that the entrepreneurship idea came to my mind, and I floated my own fintech at that point of time, right, along with my another co-founder. So we moved towards the supply chain financing, and we are very best in that segment also. But due to the entire supply chain thing was hit very hard.
Yeah.
Got hit very hard during that point of time. So we did change our mindset towards moving towards the consumer durables, the CD for buying out any kind of the smaller ticket size loans, right?
Yep.
Like buying out any mobile phones, whether be it Apple, OnePlus, or anything, and also the any type of a home durable. So that was the idea floated. Then again, we wanted to raise fund, not from the Indian ecosystem also, but also from the US investors also, right? But again, we did raise some funds, but again, that was not sufficient to scale it further because ultimately the fintech phenomena was an all-time high at that point of time. Like if you look at the US ecosystem also, I think the fintech at in between 2020 to 2023 was an all-time high,
Yeah.
both in terms of fund infusion and also the kind of institutional investor that came into Indian ecosystem, right?
Yeah.
So then we did struggle to scale it up, but again, by the time we were quite profitable at the and bootstrap from the start itself, right? So we are able to manage our own cash flows. But that period taught us one thing: without raising, also you can still maintain the flow of the entrepreneurship journey, right? So that was kind of a very up down experience from both sides, right? That thing kind of shaped my mindset for what I need to do for the last next phase my entrepreneurship.
Yeah. Well, that was an amazing story. Thank you. And taking you back a little bit, because you have such a diversified portfolio, you have a lot of experience in this company, you're a founder, etc. Did you kind of always have this entrepreneurial spirit? Did you always want to start something? Did it start at a young age, or did this kind of just, like you said, it dominoed, it fell in your lap, and you took the opportunity?
I just wanted to start something on my. I one thing that was not clear to me was the timing. So because of two reasons, entrepreneurship needs clear mindset, right? You cannot just. It is not a fantasy game that I'll start something on my own.
Yeah.
You need to have a clear mind, and also you need to be very focused, like what exactly I want to pursue in terms of entrepreneurship. So before even I started thinking about entrepreneurship, the preparation to be capable of something start on my own started in 2017, right? Again, because one thing that I always taken very seriously about myself, that I need to keep myself upgraded, right?
Yeah.
Not just 1 year, but it's a lifelong learning for everyone right now, right? Same is applied for me also. So
Right.
back in 2017, I decided to pursue my master's in economics, right? So I did complete my master's economics in 2021. But the idea was that whenever I start something, I should be in a position that I can go full fledged, right? Not half at it.
Yeah.
So that was something I was pretty clear on my mind. And same time during COVID also, I started another diploma from IIM Kozhikode, right? So you know the IIMs are one of the premier institute in India, right? So I did my financial modeling, valuation, and financial analysis from IIM Kozhikode, which was an 1 year course. It was basically to understand and keep myself updated about the recent, what should I say, the recent changes that has happened in terms of the financial industry. And also it should equip me to understand each and every aspect of financial industry in a better way. Not just reading out the balance sheet, but I should be in a position to think on a much longer term, not only short term basis.
No, that's amazing. I definitely love hearing this and the insights. And I definitely want to touch on, we've talked past, present. Let's kind of touch on the future a little bit. Where do you see yourself, your company in the next 8 to 12 months? Like what's your goal for the next year, let's say?
So next year, basically, so I'm coming to before I answer this question, I'm just coming to how Startupholic and HHC Growth Partner got started, right?
Yeah.
So I think during COVID, we all got familiar with the Zoom call, the Gmeet kind of a call. But what I have noticed back in 2020 that people want to come back to the offline environment. People got fed up while working from home, right? So
Yeah.
the physical touch was missing amongst each other, right? Because it was the quarantine was there, then multiple government restrictions were there in those 2 to 3 years, right? Peak of the COVID time. But in 2022, people started coming out of their home, right? The networking events, which again started. And I have never seen that kind of an environment in India before. When the entrepreneurship spirit among the youngsters and also the experienced one also, it was kind of an all-time high. People wanted to start something on their own.
Right.
I'll tell you for reason before for this, right? So the modern day to run a, I'm just going a bit back end so
Yeah.
that we can clear out the perspective of the discussion, right? So one thing is in India currently to run a multi like joint family, the expenses are pretty much high. If you are working, the people who are the single earner of their family, they got hit very hard because ultimately the salary cut was very massive. And for them to run the entire family was not sufficient. So this is the one of the reason of start something new, right? Because people wanted to start something so that they can create an alternative channel for their income source, alternative income source. So that could accommodate their entire family to run smoothly, right? Because it is not easy to for any single individual to run the entire family given the kind of modern lifestyle that we are in currently, right? Because the demand, the inflation rate is also so high. We are in early 2000 where everything could have managed the single earner family. So the change of mindset not only because of the environment but also the push from the Indian government and also the over entrepreneurship spirit across the world. People wanted to start something new because ultimately, if you want to build if you want huge amount of money, that is not going to happen through your employment. You need to start something new, and that is also not going to happen overnight. But again, you should start somewhere, right? Start is important,
Mhm.
and to start something, you need to have that risk appetite within you. Unless and until you have that risk appetite ability, you cannot start something overnight. That
Yeah.
was the challenge.
Right.
So then I want to experience one thing, how people are thinking about the different industry, whether it's a fintech, whether it's a D2C, whether it's a SaaS, like whatever, right? Because investment at that point of time was quite easy for the Indian entrepreneurs, but things got changed pretty drastically afterwards. But again, I wanted to start a community that where I would be hosting people across all industry, be it investors or be it entrepreneurs, right?
Yeah.
So that I could understand the perspective of different people. And I also love networking with multiple people, right? I
Mhm.
go, I'm a networking guy. I'm a community builder,
Me too.
and I love to host people, and also I keep meeting multiple people across all domain. Yeah, so that is how the journey of Startupholic got started. I created a community apart from the fintech journey, and that was the fintech startup. But this taught me two things that your network is your network
Yeah.
in today's world.
Yeah.
You need to build relationship, and that is not a short term, but a meaningful long term relationship. That will get your half the job done. Apart from your professional, how you want to build your startup, right?
Yeah.
So whereas I'm answering to your question, where what we see ourselves in the next 8 to 12 months, right? So now we are a full fledged investment banking boutique firm. We work with a lot of large scale companies. We work with startup. We work with MSMEs. So in terms of the main specific industry that we take care of, M&A is mergers and acquisition is our one of our sweet spot. And we are quite positive that we'll be able to complete 2 to 3 large transactions, not only domestically, but cross-border acquisition also. And we want to make it a community-driven boutique investment banking firm, where we are also going to have our own tech ecosystem, which will be coming up in the next 6 to 12 months. This will be an automated matchmaking platform between the buy side and sell side.
Interesting. So you say like your larger goal in a sentence is large MMA deals coming up and
Yeah.
just growing in tech. Yeah.
Sorry, I just missed.
Oh, sorry. So like to sum it up, you'd say some goals specifically are the larger MMA deals that are coming up and growing in tech, just growing as a company, that sort of stuff?
Yeah. So geopolitical scenario is bit unpredictable. So there are companies directly or indirectly got hit because of this unpredictability. There are companies based out in USA, mostly for mostly if I have to more specifically, if you look at the outsource companies, right, the IT solutions company, cybersecurity, or there are other domains also. So they want to exit their business, or they want some strategic investor to come in to scale it further.
Yeah.
So there are entrepreneurs who has built businesses over the years, and these are quite positively cash flow positive business. It's not that they are running into losses. But when we look at the geopolitical scenario or the an acquisition prospective across, so these the demand is on all time high rate.
Yeah, totally. No,
Yeah.
continue.
So strategic investment is one way of doing a like one investors can come in by 20-30% stake in the company, and maybe in a staggered manner in the next couple of years they can buy out the entire company, right? So this is one opportunity that I can see in terms of the defense tech, defense sector in India, and the strategic investor I'm talking about. VFSI is another thing, and also the IT solution and other. There are a couple of startup domain where this opportunity will remain high in the next few odd.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. Looks like big things coming up. And I love that we're talking about goals recently or goals in the future ahead. And I always love to ask my guests this, but if you could have like hypothetically a magic wand or a genie, something like that, that you just it fixes one thing in the business right now that's either holding you back or slowing you down to get to that goal, what would it be?
So one thing is the that's slowing us down right now. We are not looking for any investment in our company, right? We want to take this organically. We want to go organically. We don't hurry things because there's a reason that we want to grow organically. I'll tell you one thing, right? We have come this far without much investment because organic journey has its own way of scaling it up, right? So one thing that's why I told you at the very beginning that I want to take it as a driven, community driven boutique investment banking firm. Sourcing of clients would be organic without spending much on the marketing and other side.
So
We
you guys aren't looking for big investments or to like scale your company at the moment.
Yeah, that is one thing because I'll tell you one thing. IB business is basically investment banking business. So currently we are into investment banking, right? We cater to multiple segments in terms of business capability. One is M&A, there's private equity space, family offices, and we work with a lot of early stage startups also. And also recently we are entering into a space which is called pre-IPO.
Mhm.
So I see there are a lot of companies in India which has a huge potential, but they are not quite accustomed to the term called IPO.
Yeah.
Is the huge opportunity for us also as an investment banker. If we can handle any of the 3 to 4 top companies and we can make them go public,
Mhm.
where the investor also will make money, the founders also will make money, and also post listing, the retail investor also can make money, and it will create an overall impact on the economy also, and it will create a more job opportunities for the youngsters, the
Yeah.
recent graduates, because economy will only grow when you multiply the opportunities for in terms of employability and all the overall scalability component of the company
Okay.
will only have. Yeah.
Let me ask you something interesting because this is a topic that I talk about with a lot of my guests because it is such a hot topic right now. It's interesting that you said that you guys aren't looking for like investments or to scale at the moment or anything. What is your take and what are maybe some people at your company thinking about like AI right now and AI implementation or looking to do that into your company? What are you guys doing about that?
So AI, you cannot stay away from AI right now. Like it has already changed a lot of things, and it is going to disturb a lot of things. Be it banking ecosystem, be it manufacturing segment, and be it the IT solution, also the financial services industry as a whole, right? And we have already seen the impact of AI, and I am fully aware of the changes that is happening because of AI. Entrepreneur and also as an investment banker, I also taking steps that we should be at par with the whatever technology is getting changed because of it. So more than so we want to be 100% sure about adoption of AI in terms of internal workflow also, right? Be it agentic AI or how you are going to carry forward your day-to-day manual workflow, right? So
Yeah.
whether we can automate something which you are doing manually right now, maybe the reaching out to clients, having a conversation, creating a chatbot, or maybe an agenting AI which can take care of the manual thing that we are doing on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So that is, and also the thing that is going to be massive in terms of AI adoption, how you are going to make your client feel about whether the person is talking an AI agent or a real human being.
Yeah.
So the real time experience of being an AI, that is going to play a huge role in the coming couple of years.
Yeah.
And we have already seen a boom into as an AI industry as a whole. But as far as Indian ecosystem is concerned, I think currently we are a bit behind in terms of adoption and also creating our own meaningful LLMs
Yeah.
in terms of US and China.
I
But
agree.
we are progressing as a country, but maybe it will take some time before we can catch up with US and
Yeah. The
China.
US is very ahead. I can see as I talk to everybody, it's a very hot topic. That's why I always love talking about it with my guests. But we can pivot a little bit. Why don't you tell me a little bit about so I love how we talked about your early days as well. And kind of tell me a little bit about like what I know it looks a little bit different every day, but tell me what you do on a day to day.
On it.
Like, let's say it's just a regular weekday. Take us through like the audience members would love to know because we love to get like, we get the full picture, the full umbrella, and then the nitty gritty. Like, what would you do morning to night?
So basically, I work mostly in the night.
Mm,
I work mostly till 3 a.m., 4 a.m. in the night. I love working late night. So that is has been my practice from the last couple of decades, right?
mm-hmm,
Because morning time, even though I woke up early, but again, what I love in the morning is reading articles,
mm,
listening to podcast,
yeah.
and like whatever. Because I am a very news reader across all domain, be it sports, be it social economic, be it economic. I love reading newspapers. But nowadays, since everything is digital, I have my own set of online news portals which I follow on a regular basis. So I give at least 2 to 3 hours daily on reading all these articles and also the books also specifically into the private equity space, IB, and the mental aspect of the founders and the inspiring books which are relevant for us, right?
Is there any podcasts or books specifically that you have been enjoying
So
that
there is no specific podcast that I listen, but I mostly prefer listening to all those podcasts where the talk is about real life journeys, the founders sharing their struggle and
Mhm,
how they have scaled up their companies, and also the motivational podcast.
mhm.
Preferably, I mostly listen to this podcast. And apart from this, what I follow is the geopolitical podcast. People are discussing about the current scenarios, how the world is going to shape up, like geopolitically, and on the defense side also.
Yeah.
So I'm a bit curious about on the defense side. So I keep myself updated on that side also. And yes, the non-negotiable sports podcast, cricket, the sport personality, right? When they talk about their journey over the years,
Yeah, that's
the
always
struggle, the mental space, and that thing. So
enjoy.
2 to 3 hours of my time goes into listening to podcasts, reading articles, and that part. And then mostly in the afternoon time, I mostly talk to my clients, taking meetings from founders, talk to investors, and then I have many offline meeting to attend. So mostly from in the afternoon till in the evening, I mostly into the meetings only. And then the evening, sometimes I watch cricket or maybe the football thing. But one thing that I am very consistent with is talking with multiple people, attending events across cities in India. And I am also a visiting lecturer to a couple of colleges. I love mentoring students and also in between, mostly once in a month, I tend to organize event for founders.
Awesome.
Yeah. So these are basically that is how my days are structured.
Yeah.
This is normally the flow, but I give lot of importance to learning new things on a daily basis because I think that is important for me also as a person. If I am mentoring somebody, I need to know that space, right? Otherwise, as a human person, also that is also a difficult task for me to mentor someone. So I'm quite serious on that part. Did seriously, and I make effort to keep myself updated on all those fronts.
Yeah. Yeah. Knowledge is
That
power.
is important.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Knowledge, exactly. Well,
that
I
is
think
important.
that's wrapping up our time for today. Is there any last words of advice to any of our audience members? Say anyone's trying to crack into the business, any last send off you'd tell them?
I think in today's world, building a business is tough, but if you are committed enough and if you believe in yourself, right? Believe in yourself is very important. And managing your mental space, managing your daily, day to day, the emotions of the day-to-day struggle, right? Managing those struggle is very important. And if you are struggling internally, I think it's better to speak out, try to share with your family members, try to share with your friends. So that will give you the mental space, because unless and until you are mentally free, you cannot build something.
Yeah. Yeah.
First, your personal life has to be sorted out.
Yep.
Your family, your personal life has to be sorted out, because in entrepreneurship there is going to be a lot of struggle, not only in terms of the business perspective, but also on your mental side and also your financial well-being, right? Because as a founder, you are not going to withdraw salary at the initial level. You are not going to make that much of money, right?
Yeah.
So having a backup and having a supportive family members, having a supportive friend circle, colleagues, and being into that mental space is important.
Yeah.
Rest of the thing, if you continue to work hard, be persistent, be disciplined, and keep believing in yourself. I think these are the basic fundamentals to start to succeed any of the business. Rest will fall in place once we are consistent with our daily journey.
Yeah.
And also, I think another important aspect of entrepreneurship is today is don't never give up.
Yeah. Never give up.
Be in the game, be happy, and build relationship for long term, make genuine connects, be on the investor side, and don't rush yourself to the fundraise perspective.
Yeah.
First, build the fundamental aspect of the business so that investors can take a bet on you. Rushing on fundraising aspect might backfire. And also another aspect that I want to make it very clear to the upcoming founders, that be choosing who are going to be with you. Be your co-founder. Take your time before you can onboard any co-founder for your business.
Yeah.
It is absolutely non-negotiable, because you need to find an well alignment before you can hire anybody as a co-founder. Same applies for the investors also. Go to that investor who can support you during your tough times, right? Not only about the money, but try to onboard someone who has a strategic goal while building at the same time. So these are very fundamentally very important aspect of entrepreneurship in today's world.
Yes. Well, I agree with absolutely everything you said. I think this was very insightful, very valuable. And thank you again so much for joining us today. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, Megan. I really enjoyed the podcast, and I hope I make it more relevant for you also. Maybe we'll hope to meet soon.
Yes. Yeah. It was amazing. Thank you very much.
Sure, sure. Thank you, Megan.